Good evening. I'm here to refute the claim that the First Amendment cannot defend the Westboro Baptist Church. The opponent's secondary claims that I will be refuting are, firstly, that disturbing messages are not right or just. Secondly, that the Westboro Baptist Church violates the law of verbal abuse and assault. And thirdly, that the Westboro Baptist Church violates the law of privacy and harassment. To respond to the first claim, the definition of disturbing the peace does not apply in this situation. In the First Amendment, there was a case that was similar to the Westboro Baptist Church called Schenck versus the United States. And in this case, they reasoned that to violate the First Amendment, there had to be a clear and present danger that is shown in the statement. And in the Westboro Baptist Church, they do not actually have a clear and present danger. There is no immediate threat presented by the statements, which I will go into further in my next point. But because of this, while the message is possibly disturbing, there is no violation of the First Amendment. To my second claim, the Westboro Baptist Church does not violate the law of verbal abuse and assault. In my opponent's point, he stated that the law of verbal abuse, the most commonly understood form is name-calling, but it also includes shouting, insulting, intimidating, threatening, shaming, or demeaning. And it's interesting to note that the Westboro Baptist Church has statements on their pickets that specifically do not target people. The statements are all presented as fact. And this might seem like semantics, but it makes a big point when it isn't name-calling and it is not directed at a specific person. To go through three of those pickets, the first one is God hates fags. And while this is shown in quite a derogatory manner, it isn't an insult. Specifically, the soldier at the funeral was not homosexual. The only reason that this statement is presented is because the Westboro Baptist Church believed that God was punishing these soldiers due to homosexual people in the army. Thank God for dead soldiers and you're going to hell are not directed at the person either. And in that case, they cannot be defined as name-calling, nor are they threatening, as they do not try to impede a threat on the people attending the funeral. And because of this, the law of verbal abuse does not necessarily apply. And to respond to the third claim, the Westboro Baptist Church does not violate the law of privacy and harassment. And in this case, I would actually like to make the claim that the Westboro Baptist Church respects the law of privacy and harassment rather well. The Respect for America's Fallen Heroes Act, as stated in 2006, states that there must be at least a 300-foot distance between the funeral and the picketing. And it was stated by my opponent himself that the Westboro Baptist Church picketers were at least 500 feet away. And this shows clear respect for the law because they are respecting the boundaries that are set by the state. If there is an argument that the boundaries are not strict enough, that is a different issue. However, the Westboro Baptist Church is shown to respect the law as it stands to this day. Due to these facts, and the fact that I have refuted every claim posed by the Westboro Baptist against the Westboro Baptist Church, it follows that the First Amendment still does apply to the Westboro Baptist Church. While the messages may be disturbing, it does not change the fact that it doesn't violate the First Amendment. It is shown to abide by the law of verbal abuse and assault and the law of privacy and harassment. In fact, in the final ruling that was 8-1 in favor of the Westboro Baptist Church by the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice John Roberts is quoted in saying, "What Westboro said in the whole context of how and where it chose to say it is entitled to special protection under the First Amendment, and that protection cannot be overcome by a jury finding that the picketing was outrageous." What he means by this fact is that the First Amendment cannot be refuted simply because a message is disturbing. As a matter of fact, the First Amendment was made to defend minorities against the opinion of the majority that would otherwise oppress it. For this reason, the First Amendment must apply to the Westboro Baptist Church. Thank you.
All right, well, the claim is clear. The secondary issues are signposted as you go through. You have good explanations on all of these points. I do think that the one place that you actually provide some evidence is on the third point when you tell us what the law that was done to protect services for service members, what the factual data is on that particular law, and then you make a reference to Westboro staying at least 500 feet away, not just the 300 feet away that's going on. That's the one place where I got any reference to something that would be tangible, factual data. I didn't get a source citation on it, but that's that. The other points that you have, I think, are reasonable interpretations of what's going on. It would be nice to know if this is just your claim or if you're basing this on some legal scholar's opinion on these particular points, because I think it would add a little bit of credibility to the arguments. Your explanations seem pretty reasonable. I'm not sure if that's what the court ruled on the first and the second point. On the last point, when you mentioned the ruling by the court, it seems to talk about how the First Amendment definitely applies in these particular contexts. Like that whole analysis about God hates fags, that it's not directed to the soldier themselves, or that thank God for dead soldiers, that is not a derogatory statement or a threat. I think that those interpretations, those are your inferences, or if they are somebody else's inferences, like I said, I think you need to give us a citation, a legal opinion on that. I think all the explanation is very clear, and your reasoning is pretty solid here. There's not really much discussion of the advocate's evidence on these points, but the issues that they brought up, you follow them pretty closely. All right, thank you.